All right, Tristan, I know you don't want to talk about it. I hope you have your plate of crow ready because the Jags roller coaster show is back again for 2024, everybody. It's here. And matter of fact, it didn't even happen. We didn't have to wait the whole season for it to happen. It happened in a game. The Jags looked like they were unstoppable. The Dolphins were playing sloppy. Tua was on the floor most of the first half. But somehow, the Jags found a way to completely lose track of the football game, let the Dolphins come back. Look, they were even slamming Tyreek Hill on the ground in handcuffs, okay, at some point.
No, their undercover cop couldn't stop them.
Half the other offense of the Dolphins was in handcuffs. Like, none of that mattered because the Jags did what the Jags do in Jags fashion. Please tell me, what in the world makes you believe that this team is going to do any better than they did last year after this performance today?
Well, nothing.
Okay.
Nothing at all. And if the only reason I'm not getting off the Jags roller coaster is because, have you ever been on a roller coaster? They lock you in. The little thing falls down and you're stuck. I've tried at this point. Halfway through that game, I was like, "Give someone help." I couldn't get off. And it's so funny. I messaged you and was like, "How you feel about those Dolphins now or those Jaguars now?" You were like, you said it's a roller coaster and this is just the incline, which was such a perfect line. And you were right because the Jags fell apart.
Look, to be fair, I thought that they had this game. I thought I was ready to admit, I was ready to come on the show tonight and say, you know what? I'm okay with it. The Jags won this game. It's okay. They're going to start on the incline this year instead of starting on the decline. But guess what? Midway through the season, they're going to crash. I didn't have to wait that long.
You said they crashed halfway through the game.
Which they just started plummeting.
Right. I mean, and that's where it shifted because the Jags were shut out in the second half.
Yep.
Like they played well in the first half, especially defensively, 17-7 going into the halftime. And after the second quarter, the Jaguars did not put a single point on the board.
Not one.
Really, the turning point of the game to me was a fumble. Like it was, the Jaguars were literally about to score and Travis Etienne fumbled almost through the end zone, but I believe it was covered in the end zone and the Dolphins got the ball back. And that was it. It was off and running. The story of this game to me is the Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence's inability to make a play happen when you have to have it. They had so many opportunities to convert, to keep drives alive, and they could not do it. Well, you talked about this a little bit when we talked about the Detroit game and third downs, but that was kind of the issue for the Jaguars. If you look at their first downs, 17 first downs compared to the Dolphins' 18. So pretty similar. Like their yards, everything is even. But the big story is right here, third down efficiency. The Dolphins, 8 for 16 on third downs, 50%. Okay. The Jaguars, 2 for 10. They converted 2 third downs all football game and 0 for 1 on fourth downs. That was the story. They did good when they got in the red zone. They were in the red zone 3 times. They scored on 2 of them. The other was a turnover, which really ended up losing the game. I like Trevor Lawrence, but at a certain point, when you're getting paid this much money, you have to step up. We're not really talking about this game tonight, in Buffalo. Josh Allen struggled. The Bills struggled. Kyler Murray was playing fantastic. And Josh Allen, because he's getting paid $600 billion, took the Bills franchise, strapped it into a knapsack, put it on his back, and carried it across the finish line. Trevor Lawrence won't even put the fucking organization in a knapsack. He just leaves it there on the sideline. He's like the car sticker of the little kid pissing on a logo, except he's pissing on the Jaguars logo. I don't know what has to happen for Trevor Lawrence to live up to what I thought was his potential. 12 for 21, 162 yards and a touchdown. That's not going to get it done in the AFC, buddy.
So how much of this is Trevor Lawrence? How much is it the offensive play calling and the just utter like no competence whatsoever in how to run a football game once you're up? Like the Jags have been doing this for 2 years. They've gotten up in games and then they just lose it. They completely lose it.
I think it's probably about 60-50, 60 offensive play calling, 60-50, that'd be 110. It's not the way math works, you podcaster. 60-40. I'd say 60, the offensive coordinator, 40, Trevor Lawrence. I don't think the offensive play calling is great. I don't think the offense is some mastermind that you have to really scheme around. They were doing, an okay job. But just look at the numbers. Say you didn't watch the game, okay? Just compare the two quarterbacks. Most people who just watch the quarterbacks play on throughout their careers would say, oh, Trevor Lawrence, guaranteed better quarterback than Tua, right? You would take him every day of the week. Tua, 23 for 37, 338 yards and a touchdown. Trevor Lawrence, 12 for 21, 162 yards and a touchdown. Both got 3 sacks, but you need more from your quarterback. That's the bottom line. I'm not even putting a ton of blame on Trevor and saying, you messed up here, you messed up here, you messed up here. I'm just saying when you get paid a massive contract, you have to be able to have success when the play breaks down. That's what elite quarterbacks do. Yeah, Jared Goff, he's great when everything's on schedule. You have to make something happen when the defense has your number and there's nowhere to go with the football. Can you make something happen? If you can't, why am I giving you so much money? And you could make that same argument about Tua, but right now I'm just so frustrated with Trevor Lawrence because I see the potential. I saw him carry Clemson. I saw what he could do that first season with Doug Pederson, and it just seems like that is such a bygone memory of the past at this point.
Yeah, it does. It does. One question I want to ask you before we wrap up here. I want to know what you think about the rushing attempts for Miami. Are you concerned at all? I mean, it seems like they were splitting the backfield, maybe 60-50. But overall, do you think that the rushing game needs to improve for this team to be successful in the long haul?
Yeah, absolutely. You can't have this again. A-Chain had like 24 yards. What Mostert had 9. Jeff Wilson, 26. Jeff Wilson was their leading rusher with 26 yards. I mean,
Jeff Wilson. How many people, put in the comments, how many people took Jeff Wilson off your draft board before A-Chain or Mostert?
Yeah, Jeff Wilson, I guarantee you the over-under on rush yards was like 7.5.
Didn't even know he still played for the Dolphins.
Neither did I. He hit the over. Tua throwing for 37 times a game is not really a recipe for success. You want to have a more balanced team, but I actually came away with this game, if anything, surprised by the Dolphins. I thought the defense was going to be a real issue for the team. It might end up being. They were playing the roller coaster team, but the fact that they were able to hold the Jags to 17 points, I was pretty impressed with. I was impressed with Tua. He played well. The offensive line was not very good. We knew that was going to be an issue, and we're going to see how they handle that going forward because only rushing for 60, 70 yards, that's just not going to do it. You're going to have to be able to do better to have a more balanced attack. But overall, I think you have to come away from this game at least, a little impressed with Miami and severely disappointed with Jacksonville. It's week 1. A lot of things can happen, but you're worried if you're down in Duval.
Yeah, you know why also you're worried is because next week, guess who you got to play? The Browns, and then you got to play the Bills, and then the Texans, and then the Colts.
Good Lord. Yeah, man. I'll tell you this.
Oh, wait. Hang on. Then the Bears, the Patriots, the Packers, the Eagles, the Vikings, the Lions, all before your bye week.
That's brutal.
You play like this, and I get that it's week 1, okay?
Of course.
And we're not overreactors here, but we are concerned that it seems as if the Jags have brought 2023 habits back into 2024, and they're continuing to ride this roller coaster, man. And I know I keep it's repetitious that I say it's a roller coaster, but give me any other type of synonym for this Jags team.
You could say it's a merry-go-round, but I like the way roller coaster comes off the tongue better. Either way, it's up, down, it's around in circles. It's the same thing over and over again. And I agreed with you. We're not overreacting to week 1, but with that schedule, we're going to find out really quick who the Jags are. Seriously, we'll check back in on this podcast. We'll check back in around week 3, week 4. We'll have a pretty good idea what this team's going to look like down the stretch.